Welcome back, VC. Seeking a Thread. I'm Dom. This will be what? Installment number 4, I think, of classic indie rock. Or indie classic rock. And this one, I like to do this with one band you should probably all well know, and then another you might not. This one, they're both related. And the first band is a band that's been mentioned. You'll probably know the name, but they're not really thought of as like a classic indie rock band. More of a noise rock, shoegaze, post-rock, and very much a band that pioneered their own sound going way back to the early 90s. I'm talking about Flying Saucer Attack. I'm a huge fan of this band. I have just about all their records right behind me here. I'm going to focus on New Lands from 1997. This was the band out of Bristol. He was doing a lot of different stuff I don't know very well previous to Flying Saucer Attack that I haven't heard, but he mainly started this with Rachel Brooke, who would become Rachel Coe. We'll talk about in a second. And in the first phase, as they call it, the Flying Saucer Attack, it was the two of them doing the first album, sort of self-released. Then the second album, Further, singles would come out on Domino, and in the US on VHF. A great label, by the way, VHF, if you don't know it. And then they would get picked up on Drag City, and by the time they did, Rachel Brooke had already left to do another band, which I'll talk about in a second. They're related, and they're going to be the other one. But I'm going to feature 97's New Lands, very much like a, obviously, space rock kind of thing, on Drag City. This band was tagged Rural Psychedelia. They tagged themselves that. And they were very much into vinyl, which is why you should all be paying attention to this band or know about them. David Pierce put on his early records like CDs Are Destroying the Fabric of Our Society and different things about how vinyl was key. And their first record, you could only get on vinyl, in fact. It would later be reissued on CD. But so all of their records, whether it's 7 inches, 12 inches, or LPs are on vinyl. I have some of the 7 inches, a couple of the 12 inches. I do have all the LPs though. And it's David Pierce is the main foil behind this. This very noise-centric, very, as you can hear, a bit of a harsh dissonance to it. But this angelic vocal, this sort of almost godlike vocal from Pierce, I just find this to be absolutely mind-melting. And I discovered this band probably from Other Music, legendary New York record store. I don't remember specifically when. But I really started diving deep on them when I had a previous job working for Warner Music Group. I used to work on the weekends because I was trying to get ahead, working on the weekend when no one else was. This is like the mid-2000s, 2005, 2004 in there. And I would go in and the office would be empty and I'd be catching up on stuff because, you know, I didn't have kids, didn't have much of attachment. I was just trying to work hard and all that shit. And I was having fun. Anyway, seeing bands. I would go in and blare this record to the office empty. Now, this is a place where you'd obviously play music and play your own music, and everyone had their own opinion about music. But very few people were really getting into this. There were people that listened to weird music, but I would just go in and let this thing rip. And the final track in particular, Forever. We're listening to side 2 of this, by the way. Forever, the final track on side 2, is maybe the pinnacle of Flying Saucer Attack. You know, a band that just embraced sort of home recording and psychedelia in a beautiful way. I mean, this is just so transcendent. Something about the tape hiss and the sort of lo-fi, it reaches an almost transcendent, a different kind of a sort of high euphoria that you get with classic space rock, like, you know, your Hawkwinds and whatnot. So yeah, these records, there are reissues of these on Drag City. The originals aren't too expensive. This is my favorite, technically. I mean, I'll show a few others that I have here. Here's Further. This has got Rachel Brooke on it, I believe. This is a reissue. They came back out of nowhere and released an album in 2015, instrumentals. They were gone after, like, I think before 2015 instrumentals, Mirror on Drag City was one of the last records they did. I think this is from 99, no, from 2000. And David Pierce started doing other stuff. Here's Distance. This one's excellent. I think this is on Domino UK. Here, right on the spine here. Keep Vinyl Alive. I don't know if you can see that. This is on VHF. This is a reissue of the first album, which has a different sleeve. This is from '93. It does feature Rachel Brooke. But I got many more here. What else? This is with Roy Montgomery of the Pin Group, a great New Zealand. This is a 12-inch. Goodbye and Goodbye the Whole Day. He's on VHF. Anyway. Something else. Dungan. But this is the album New Lands by Flying Saucer Attack, 1997 on Drag City. A classic indie rock. And who else was really doing this brand of space rock in the early to mid-90s? David Pierce, out of Bristol, if I didn't say that. And let's change the track. Let's change the record for the more obscure, but in this case connected, part of my classic indie rock series.
High on the cliffs, there's Mediterranean flowers and a house with a view of the ocean all around. Night through its roof and stars through the night, and night over the deep salt ocean.
The second band I'm going to feature is a related band, Rachel Brooke. After I think the first or second Flying Saucer Attack album in the mid-90s, she started doing this band, the Movietone. And this is the Blossom-Filled Streets from 2000 on Drag City, also on Domino in the UK, an English group. Now, it wasn't just Rachel Coe, there was other members that would contribute to Flying Saucer Attack live, and they're all featured on this in a lot of ways. Sam Jones doing Fender Rhodes and Matt Jones were a band called Crescent, also out of Bristol, a band I'm going to talk about in a future video. Actually, there's a whole scene around Bristol, and I'm sure some of you out there will know this stuff, but many different bands. Third Eye Foundation, I think, was related. Forgetting a few others, but Movietone, along with Crescent has a bunch of records, was primarily the work of Rachel Brooke, along with Kate Wright. Now, this band goes back to like '94, where I showed their first album. This is my favorite, though. This one you can hear, it's definitely kind of in that post indie vein, but a little more sort of like a Rachel's, a little more orchestral. They're using a lot of other sort of woodwinds and strings on this. Rachel Brooke plays clarinet, bass and string bass. Kate Wright is doing the vocals, acoustic and piano. Chris Cole is in the band, not our Chris Cole, but a different Chris Cole. Is playing piano and guicello. Florence Lovegrove viola. And then you have Matt Jones, drums, Fender Rhodes, prepared piano, string bass, and Sam Jones, electric guitar and cubist bass. Now, this band had, 4 records, I think? They're mostly on Drag City here in the US, except for that first one, which was only a UK. Here's the insert. Now this band I discovered independently of Flying Saucer Attack, even though we're related, around this time. I don't remember how or why, probably just exploring music, and I heard about this band, and I didn't even know they were related to Flying Saucer Attack, but I got into it right away. Just this sort of gentle but sort of distant sort of music, and her voice is beautiful. Kate Wright. They would do another record on Drag City, Day and Night. I think there's 3 on Drag City, 4 albums total. I think this band is basically defunct, but something tells me we'll see something else from this Bristol scene. So Movietone, I don't know how many of you know them. Like I said, I think some will know Flying Saucer Attack. You might not know this band. Are these records in print? No. Now these were. I got these not too long ago because I've had CDs of Movietone. I got. I'm missing one Movietone on Drag City. I got the other 2 for normal prices, like $20. I think they're out of print right now, but Drag City may repress them, so look out. But you can stream these, of course, and you can see here that they swell up too, and they sort of expand to that sort of that far out, that psychedelia that I'm always looking for in different kinds of music. It happens, but I love that it happens here with a more grounded, you might say, instrumental, or more sort of organic. I hate that word in a way. Something less related to sort of guitar feedback and noise, which of course I love, but here they're doing it with all those instruments I mentioned. So I wanted to highlight Movietone and highlight the Bristol music scene in the UK in the mid-90s. We'll talk more about some of those other bands. I don't have all the stuff. Crescent I do. I have a little bit. I'm going to talk about a record from them next time. But yeah, this is the Blossom-Filled Streets from 2000. Domino and Drag City here. Really gorgeous record. I highly recommend this to everyone out there. So that's my installment of indie classic rock. More to come. More to come. I have lots of ideas for this series, so we can do this one till the cows come home. All right, everyone. Take care. I'll see you next time.